Now in this demonstration I'm going to show you how to put hair on this rather lovely young lady. We're going to start with the white. Now this is highlights we're doing now. So all the highlighted area. And they go in very strong. These will be seen right at the end. Now the hair on either side of that, we still use the white, but it grades off. And it grades off both sides. Like that. Now, as long as you get this right, everything else will fall into place. Alright, now let's just move on to this area. Now, just there, I'm going to make that really strong, because that's another highlight. And that comes right down to there. And again, very strong there. And then it fades away. Now you'll be amazed that the paper itself helps here, because we have a coloured paper. You're going to be able to see this perhaps a little better than if it was a white paper. And it comes down there. Right now, that's what happens over here. Well, there's another highlight there. Just in here. So once again, nice strong white. You work in the direction that we see the hair lying in. This has to be strictly opaque, because if you go willy-nilly everywhere, it's not going to work at all. So bear that in mind. It's the same applies to all animals too. If you have fur or hair, you work in the direction, and the pencils really respond well. Now look already, you can see what's happening. If we were to fade this like that, and we've already faded that like that, you see, using the colour of the paper, you can see where the highlights are going to appear. Now down here we've got a few more. But mostly now we're going to be looking at the stronger tones. And there's a few down here as well. I'm going to complete the whole of this hair. This is one of the reasons why I filled in the arms, because I can show you how we can develop the hair. Now, you notice I'm not putting anything in here. Now, this is reason for that is because it's very dark. That's the first application. The second application is with a stronger colour. This is 187. We're only using 6 pencils in this whole project. Now, once again, watch how quickly the hair starts to develop. Again, working in the direction. Now this bit is not too difficult. It's when we get over here that it gets trickier. Now I did say that we bring the white, graduate the white. Well, you do the same thing with the stronger colour. You graduate that too, and that can go all the way over. Now watch this. Along here this is going to be a dark, so let's just put a line in. I wouldn't normally do this, but it's easier for me to show you what I'm getting at if I do that. Now that, and then at the back. Now at the back we want that to be quite strong. We're going to put some very strong colours on here in a minute too. Now, there you go. Now just here, remember this is where I had a lighter application of white. Come from there and swing across. Now this is where we have the hair meeting the top of the head. And you can see how well that responds. You've got to have a pretty sharp pencil to do this. You can't, it won't work if you don't have it sharp enough, but that already looks good. Now what about over here? Well, once again, little bit of extra weight there. And bring it back in. Now we want that to remain really strong highlight. So bring it back. But even though I'm doing this, we're still working in the hair direction. And in here and down. Right against this edge, we want it to be quite dark. Although portrait work is very hard, I mean, this is quite easy-ish, because I've restricted the pencils and I've made this subject easier. The reward you get from portrait work is enormous. And I always ask, even when I have my students in my classes, I used to say, you really must try a portrait, even though you feel that it's beyond your capability. You'll find that if you can pull it off, man, it's so rewarding. Now I've got to bring that down there. Now I'm chatting away, but really all the time I'm hoping that you're seeing how this is working out. Look at the profile we have there. Isn't that lovely? Now I won't bore you anymore, because I'm going to carry on here and make this a little stronger. And as I come down here, I'll just show you this side. As it meets, that highlight there stays there, and you work into that highlight like that. We can put the white back too at the end, but really it's best to try to retain as much of the light as you can. Anyway, let me continue with that all the way through here, and then I'll come back and we'll bring the next colour in. Now I've almost finished the 187, and this comes right down to meet the arm. Like that. The next colour we're going to use is 183. Now this is the ochre, yellow ochre, and this follows the same path, but it's probably a bit easier because you've already seen and designed the hair. So once this goes in, it's going to look really lovely. And then we use dark colours at the end. Now we can use the ochre over the top of the white here, because we can put the white back, but that makes the hair look more realistic. Now, let's just come back into here. And from here, I think you can see why I put the white on first now, how important that was. Anyway, let me continue with that. And then we'll bring the final colour in, which is a very dark colour. But just before that, before I do that, we're going to have to blend it. And I'll be using a colour shaper for that. Now the colour shaper. Now be really careful with this. If you haven't got one of these, don't do it at all. Because I think anything stronger, like a paper blender, would be too much. So you can just put the next colour on top of this. But you see how smooth it is. What we're doing really is just lightly dusting over the surface, pushing the colour into the paper. And I'll stop when I get to the end of this sequence, and you can look at the difference it's made between there and there. And we've still got the dark colour to come. Now just there, you've got to, not easy. There are other colour shapers. There's a pointed one which would work very well too on a situation like that, but I don't want to confuse it too much. If you only had one, this probably would be the one I would suggest you ever buy. Now, I'm going to finish this off now. I'm going to speed it up now you've seen me do it, because it's you understand the principle of this. Yeah, it's a little orangey, which it obviously, because of the colours we used are like that. But what we're going to do now is put the dark brown on, and that will really change it. But once again, you've got to be a bit careful with that, because if you go too mad with that, that can be too rich. This is the dark brown. Let's start off up here, and I'll just do a little bit, and then I'll show you how we can temper it. Now this can go in over the top of the head. Again, following the same idea. Let's come down here. Now, I would do this a little bit at a time. What I would do with that now is I'd come back with the 187 and use that really almost like a blender. And what you're doing now is just making it look a little bit more tonally correct, because that brown can be a bit fierce. You can even put back in a little bit of the ochre. Now that looks good. Now let's come down this area. I'm going to just turn this round, folks, because I need to get to this bit. Make sure you can see it. That would be fatal. Again, same idea. Now be quite light with that, and then come back in with that. And we can do exactly the same, because we don't really want this to go on the light area. So come down with that. And then follow it with the 187. And the yellow ochre. Right, while you're there, that's down here. This is again an area which could be quite dark, but it'd be an idea probably to put just a little bit more 187 on ahead of putting the dark brown on. There. I've already done it in here because I'm going to make that darker in there too in a minute. So let's just put the brown right on the edge and pull it in. Like that. Use a little bit of yellow ochre. Now you can see it's a long job, so what I'll do in a moment is break off and do the rest of it. And what I'll do is I'll do stop-start, so you see it all, but you see it in little bits. Now the bit I was concerned with, and while I've got it this way up, I'm going to show you. Just there, I'm going to put the dark brown in, just there, and pull it out like that. What do you do that for, Cole? Well, look, if I turn it round, you'll see now why. You see, we've got the hair coming from there, and that's just the top of the head, you can see. Make it a little bit more obvious by putting that in there. And then, if you were to put a little bit of white in there too, down there with it. And then, as I say, we're going to put white back in where we are. This allows us to put a little bit of highlight in the hair, like that. And it will, same thing over here, a little bit of light. There you go. Now, as I said, I'm going to break off, and I'm going to do little sections of the hair all the way through, so you'll see it, but you'll see it in little bits and pieces, as opposed to all of it. As I said, it really is a long job, and you've got to take your time. So I'm going to start with here. So I won't be narrating this. This will just be. I'll just do this little bit here, and then we meet in the middle. Yes, I won't be narrating it, just me and my pencils. And just there might be an idea just to put a little bit of emphasis on the edge, like that. I'll also, doing this, I will also bring the white in as well. So it will really be the finishing touches as well. I've almost finished now. There's a couple of little things you can do. You can just put just a little bit more highlight on the very lightest part of the hair. There we are. Just, and maybe Don't overdo this though, just a few little sparkly bits. There we are. Really nice. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. It's the toughest of all of the features that we've got on this particular picture, but I'm going to do more. We're going to do the arms and the legs and the dress, and also I'm going to put a background on, so watch out for those as they come up. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.